Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Anil Joshi. Welcome you to my series Iconology and Temple Architectural Perspectives. Now you will ask me why we are going to the historical aspect when we are talking of the temple architecture. What is the role of history? I'll explain you in a while. The temple architecture, iconology and iconography has evolved in certain stages. Dynasties have changed from one to another. However, the architectural views are continued. The basic principle, the basic theme, basic ideologies behind temple architecture have never been changed. There was a central idea around which the aesthetically modifications have taken place, right from a cave cut till the standalone structural, then on the carvings, and then to create a structure which are thought to be superhuman. And of all these things, if we start, we have got a laboratory at Pattatkal, Badami as a cave cut, and Hoyasala temple, Balur, Hayabed is a peak of it, and all these developments we are seeing through this lecture. So today's lecture is as far as history of Hoyasala Empire is concerned. Hoyasala Empire was fortunate enough to have influenced by three dynasties. One thing, they were part of Western Chalukyas. Yes, they originated from them. Then they had their independent dynasty. They have certain conflicts with Cholas, but though they have defeated Cholas, the architectural, cultural heritage they carried from them to themselves and integrated them in their architectural plannings. They developed their temples, maybe in a Balur or Hayabit to some extent, and to many extent there are 150 temples, which gives you an era how the temple architecture have developed, how the Hoysalas have made themselves master, and how they have created a temple which is considered as superhuman. Now let's go to some historical details of this Hoysala dynasty. Then Royal Indian dynasty, the Chalukyan dynasty ruled the largest part of the south and central India between the 6th and 8th AD. The Chalukyans were the visibly dominant rulers in the Deccan, so also on the South India. They ruled as three individual dynasties which were yet interrelated. The Western Chalukyas were the one of which ruled the Vatapi, that is the modern Badami. Then latter Western Chalukyas were the one of the which ruled the Kalyanis, and the Eastern Chalukyas were the one which ruled from the Vengi. They were a same family, you can say, same group, same school of thought. They had internal conflicts, but by and large, as far as Indian heritage culture is concerned, they took it to the peak. Though the origin of Chalukyas is controversial, as per the historians, it is believed that claimed descendants are from Pulakeshi I, who established at Badami. Now we have seen much details of the Badami architecture, temples, then how it was developed from cave cut to the standalone. In that, it was a big role of Pulakeshi I. The Pulakeshi I gained independence at the decline of the Satavahanas empire. Earlier to them, the Satavahanas practically they ruled central part of India, right from Gujarat, part of Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, then Tamil Nadu, and also part of Karnataka. So they have a big dynasty, but once they declined, the Chalukyas took over. It is said that 6th century, the northern Karnataka was under the rule of the early Chalukyas, who were rivals of the Pallavas. Pallavas were always at that time. Pallavas there, Cholas were there, and also the Chalukyas were there. And Hoysalas, they had their all independent ways. They fought, they got themselves separate dynasty, and they defeated Chalukyas also, and Cholas also. Now Western Chalukyas. Chalukyas ruled from 535 to 566 AD. Jaisimha and his son Ranarga were the first modest rulers. The founder of the dynasty is believed to be Maharaja Pulakeshi I, who was a scholar. His rule started from Badami, the present day by name. It is by name Badami. It is today also it is called Badami, and it is near Bishpur. Now, Kirtivarman I succeeded his father Pulakeshi I. The southern part of the country were seen under the political influence of the Chalukyas then, and these were also in Maharashtra. Now, where we get this proof of it, there is a inscription at Aihole. Then they have ruled Mysore also and Tamil Nadu also. He not only built a good number of temples in his town Vatapi, but also defeated several rulers over Venga, Anga, then Kalinga and Magadha. So these are the different names of that time. Today they are a bit different, but more or less the names are still there. So he practically defeated most of them. Like Shalivans were once upon a time very strong. These Chalukyas were also once in their time very strong. After his death, the Pallavas ruled over the Badami and the Chalukya areas. Ultimately, Chalukyas lost to the Pallavas. As we know, when we are seeing the history of Badami, then temple of the Badami, we know it very well. The Chalukya throne was vacant until Vikramaditya I ascended the throne in 655. He recaptured Badami and other Chalukya areas which were under the Pallavas' control. The following successor was Vinayaditya, who ruled from 681 to 696. His immediate successor was Vijayaditya, who ruled for 40 years and said to have a peaceful kingdom. Then Vikramaditya II succeeded the throne and ruled from 734 to 744. That is around 11 years short span. He defeated the Pallavas ruler and took over the musical instrument, banners, elephant, then rubies, that is diamonds, ornaments, jewelries, which were belonging to Pallavas. For the next 7 years, Kirtivarman II succeeded the throne and was the last glorious ruler of the Chalukya dynasty. Though we are seeing now history of Hoysalas, Hoysala originated from the Chalukyas. So we are seeing right from the Chalukyas era. In 598, his brother Mangalesha ascended the throne. The whole of the central and northern Maharashtra country was brought into the territory of Mangesha. He was very brave. He then conquered the Kalachuris. Pulakesi II, his nephew, took over the throne in 610 after Mangalesha lost his life. Ruling had been difficult for him because of the internal tiffs and prevailed. Also frequently invasion of the Appayika and Govinda made it tough for him. They were rebels, they were getting stronger because the king was getting weaker. He became friends with the Cholas, then Keralas and Pandyas after defeating the Pallava king Mahendravarman I. It is believed that Pulakesi II died in a battle. Later Western Chalukyas. Tailapa II was the founder of the latter Western Chalukyas with the help of earlier Chalukya family and Kadambas. He recovered the lost Chalukya area. His son Satyasarya succeeded him and defeated Raja Chola. So Cholas were defeated not only by the Hoysalas but also were defeated by Chalukyas, and the one who defeated was Satyasheya. Satyasheya was the one who defeated the Cholas. Then Dasavarman, then Vikramaditya, Jayasimha, and Jagdi Kalla were the following successor. Jayasimha handed over invasion in the southern part by the Chola king from the north. Jagde Kalla defeated Bhoja, the ruler of the Mahawa Confederacy. Then Vikramaditya dependently ruled the southern part. Vikramaditya married Veera Rajendra Chola's daughter and soon the eastern ruler Jayasimha defeated him and took over the southern part as well. So what is happening is interesting. Though they were winning, losing, fighting, ultimately they were not real rivals. The reason was very simple. That all rivalries was not for the land but for the revenues. So most of the time there were fights, there were wars, somebody was winning, and it was ending either with the exchange of the revenues or getting married. They were making the relations through marriage. Now Eastern Chalukyas. It has been said that Eastern Chalukyas were the branch of the Badami Chalukyas in 624. Pulakeshi too conquered Vengi and placed his brother Kubja Vishwavardhana on the throne. He ruled for nearly 4 centuries and his dynasty is known as the Eastern Chalukyas. So Eastern Chalukyas ruled for 400 years. His empire extended till Srikumkumam in north and Nellore in south. Jayasimha once succeeded him, and after that he ruled from 641 to 673. And then Vemula Vada, presently in Karimnagar district, was most important amongst the major Chalukyas, their territories and their part where their rule existed. Now the Hoyasala period, now we are coming to Hoyasala period. Our interest was in Hoyasala, but Chalukya also very important because Hoyasala originated from them. Now their period in South India, Indian history began about 1000. So till 1000 Chalukyas, different type we have seen. We have seen also Pandyas ruling. We have seen also Cholas. We are also Pallavas, and some small kingdoms were there that we have seen up to 1000. Now after 1000 dominating was Hoysala. Hoysala originated around 1000. In this period they built around 1500 temples and 958 centers, their bases we can call, their military bases. Belur is called Beluhur, Velor or Valapura in olden inscriptions and medieval era text. It was the early capital of the Hoysala king. The city was so esteemed by the Hoysalas that it was referred as the early Vaikuntha, that is Lord Vishnu's abode or place of residence, that is Vaikuntha. One of the Hoysala king was Vishnuvardhana. He came to power in 1110. He commissioned a Channakeshwara temple. Channakeshwara temple was commissioned by him in 1117. The temple is considered as an art of fine foundation in the legacy. So that's how from 1000 to 1117 they went on constructing piece of art, excellent temples, and the peak of it was Channakeshwara. According to scholars of Indian temple architecture and temple history, this temple reflects the rising impulse, then healthiness, luxuriousness, political power, deep spiritual dedications to Sri Vishnu and Ramajunacharya. Ramajunacharya was a priest. He was a Dharma Guru who was a promoter of Vaishnavism, and he influenced Hoyasala dynasty, and they started constructing the Vaishnavism temples like Channakeshava temple. The main temple is called as Vijay Narayana, and the smaller temple next to it built by him, Queen Shantala Devi, is called as Channakeshava. So two temples, smaller and larger. Larger is by Queen, that is Channakeshava. In the description of that era, these two temples are now called as Channakeshava temple and Chennigiraya temple. Chennigiraya, Channakeshava, they both reflects Vaishnavism. So that was the peak of the Hoyasala dynasty around 111 002 1150. During the regime of Hoysala rulers, installation of many hero stones inscription took place. There were so many stones inscription installed that they outnumbered copper inscriptions. This inscription generally conveyed and celebrated the sacrifice of the people who sacrificed their life in service of the king and for their dynasty. There is a separate video covered by us covering all details of the hero stones. They are found in almost all the temples. We must visit them when we see a temple. Though we do not know for whose name they are made, but we can bow our head that in the honor that these were the people who have sacrificed them for their country. Out of these, the well-known inscription were at Haibiddu, that is Kuvara, Lakshmana, Shasana, then Agrahara and Bakahalli. Hoysala dynasty is very significant for Kannada history, since it maintains the region of indigenous Kannada kings and plays an important role as a kingdom chronological sandwich between the Chalukyas and the Vijayanagara Empire. So from here we are seeing right from the history of the Chalukyas, and now we are almost up to the year 1150. The main Channakeshwara temple at Bellur was completed in 1117, though the complex continued to expand over 100 years. We have seen the Gopuram was completed by Vijayanagara in their style, of course. Now Vishnuvardhana moved his capital to Dwara Samudra. So Dora Samudra, Dwara Samudra are same as Haibiddu, famous for Hoysala temple dedicated to Shiva. Its construction continued till he died in 1140. His legacy was continued by his descendants, who completed the Hoysala temple in 1150 and another temple about 20 kilometers away, such as Channakeshwara temple at Bellur. The Somanathapura was completed a bit late, that is 1258, and the Hoysala Empire, also noted for their architecture, their designing, which they continued also in Somanathapura. And as you know very well, UNESCO has combinedly accepted them as the sites of World Heritage. Bellur, Haibiddu and Somanathapura. All these three are awarded very recently as they were awarded as the UNESCO, that is the World Heritage Site. So they were not only important for Kannada point of view, but also important for world's history. The Hoysala Empire and its capital was invaded, plundered and destroyed in the early 14th century by Malik Kafur, a commander of Delhi Sultanate, ruler of Alauddin Khilji. Bellur and Haribedi became the target of the plunders and destruction in 1326 by the another Delhi Sultanate. The territory was then taken over by Vijayanagara Empire. The Hoysala style came to an end in the mid-14th century, where Hoysala king Veer Ballala III was killed in a war with the Muslim Madurai Sultanate, followed by his son. So there Hoysala dynasty come to an end. The Hoysalas were generally linked with Yadava, then Yadav Vansh is basically from north. There are a lot of descendants of them, and one of them was considered as a Hoysala. Hoysalas were the descendants of the, that is believed, it is not proved, Yadav Vanshi. Then Hoysala were indigenous to the Karnataka and is universally known. So both the people are there, both the thought of people are there. Some people thought they are originally from Karnataka, some people say, but one thing is there, they had relation amongst themselves. So routine exchange, marital, they were getting married, and often after the wars and all, the things were settled with the revenues and not with the real conquering of the land. Now, the dynasty and its origin in the hill state of Malayangudu is considered as origin of these Hoysalas, but some people say they can be descendant of Yadavas. The name of the specific place of their origin is Angadi, that is Sosevuru, as per as historians. So both things are there. Some people feel Hoysalas were originating from Karnataka. Some people feels that they were from the Yadavas. It is believed that there are intimate relations and connections of the Hoysalas with the Gangas. The Gangas were the ancient rulers of the same region in the early times. So it proves that they were originally from the Karnataka itself. It was in the way beginning of the 11th century that the Hoysala dynasty came into beginning of it, flourished till the mid 14th century, and then lost to Vijayanagara. So no major damages as far as temples and heritage is concerned. Out of some most renowned monarchs of the Karnataka, Vishnuvardhana is one. His victorious battles of Vishnuvardhana are well documented. Some of his main victories were the Cholas of the Talakudu, the Cholas of the Kachi, and also freedom from the Chalukyas. So they defeated both Cholas also and Chalukyas also. Another very important king is Ballala II, who ruled for 40 years. Some of his commendable achievements were his history over the Kogalavas and the Sengalavas, and conquest over the fort of Ukkanagi Durga in 1177. So these were part of Karnataka. Now let's see the maps. These maps we acknowledge with thanks. We have got them from the net as a royalty free. We acknowledge with thanks from whom it is received. Now here we are seeing the main dynasties. The map is of 250 BC to 400. Now let's move to the ahead. It is map of 400. Maps are self-explanatory. You can have details of it, and you will know how the empires were at that time. And you see here that there are Vakatakas, there were Kadambas, and there were Gangas. Now Gangas were considered as origin of them. So you can make out where the Gangas are. They are between the Kadambas and Vakatakas. Now here Rashtrakutas are occupying main portion. Then Pratiharas from the Gujarat. Again here Cholas are coming dominating. Cholas, Pandyas are becoming dominating by the year 400 to 500. So from here even Cholas started dominating till 1000. Now here you are seeing again the map showing is Cholas, then Pandyas and Rashtrakutas. We are around 800 CE, that is Common Era. Now here you are seeing dominating Chalukyas and Cholas empires. These are only two dominating around this year, that either has to be Cholas or Chalukyas. Now Yadavas become prominent, And Hoyasala also you are seeing in the map, that is around 1000. Now you are seeing Kakatiyas. Then by that time Chola becomes small. They were becoming less and less in their land. Their strength was also getting weakening. Now it is mainly Yadav dynasty. Then again Chola were the dominating. Yadavas and Cholas were dominating. And only third was Hoysala. So only 3 dynasties here. Then onward, the Vijayanagara came into the existence. They started overpowering and they also ultimately defeated Hoysalas. Now we are at 1200. This map gives the exact ideas how they spread. This is Chalukyas. At peak of Chalukyas, see how much area they were holding. With that, we are coming to end of this lecture. It was a historical lecture, but important how the temple architecture has mixed, maybe from Chalukyas, maybe from Cholas, maybe from Hoysalas, maybe from Vakatakas or Rashtrakutas. Now, if we consider these all dynasty, we know how the culture is intermixed. And though there were wars, they were losing, winning, but most of them were for revenues and most of them were getting settled with minor settlements. And there were not much major conflicts as far as culture and heritage is concerned. All the culture and heritage kept on growing, kept on prospering. And what we are seeing today is the effect of all that thing. That one has enhanced the second has enhanced third has enhanced fourth, and so forth, and so on and so forth. That's how we are lucky to see all this development here. With that, we are coming to end of this lecture. If you like the lecture, then give us a like. If you feel you want to hear more lectures, more about temples of Cholas, Yadavas, then Hoysalas, then subscribe to our channel, visit our website, and give us a like. I am Dr. Anil Joshi, saying goodbye till we meet next time. Goodbye, good luck, and take care.